All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to talk about a huge challenge that pretty much every AI builder is wrestling with. How do you take all this amazing AI power and actually make it work inside a real, complex, kind of messy business? You know, if you're in the trenches building this stuff for a company, you're slammed with one massive question, and it really defines your whole strategy. Are you going to build with workflows? Are you going to build with agents? And these aren't just two slightly different options. No, they're like two totally different philosophies on how AI should get work done. So let's really dive into what makes them tick. At the end of the day, it all boils down to one thing: control. Workflows are totally predictable. Think of them like a recipe. You write the steps, the AI follows the steps, and you, the human, are in the driver's seat. Agents, though, that's a different story. They're dynamic. You give the AI a goal, and it figures out how to get there all on its own. The AI is in control. Okay, to make this feel a little less abstract, let's use an analogy that I think just nails the trade-offs here. We're going to look at this as the Toyota versus the Tesla of AI systems.
So, your workflows. That's your trusty Toyota. It's predictable, it's consistent, it just works. It's absolutely perfect for automating all those repetitive tasks we all have to do. And because you're defining the path, it's cheaper, it's faster, and it's way easier to fix when something goes wrong. Now, agents, they're the Tesla. They can be absolutely brilliant, but sometimes a little unreliable. They're amazing for tackling these big, unsolved research problems. But that freedom comes at a price. Higher cost, it takes longer, and man, trying to debug an agent that's gone rogue is a nightmare.
And this quote just captures that feeling perfectly, right? Your fancy AI agent is incredible, most of the time. But that one time it just decides to take the wrong exit on the freeway, well, that's the moment you're sitting there just wishing you had your good old reliable Toyota. So, this feels like a really tough spot to be in. You've got to choose between reliability and sheer brilliance. But what if that's the wrong way to look at it? What if you don't actually have to choose at all? This is where we get to a really powerful insight that changes the whole game. It turns out that workflows and agents, they're not enemies. In fact, they can work together to create this amazing synergy. Here it is. Just let this sink in. Agents generate workflows. Think about it. When you tell an agent to do something and it figures it out and succeeds, that path it took, that exact sequence of steps, that is a workflow. The agent's successful solution is a perfect, repeatable process. And this idea kicks off this incredible self-improving loop. Here's how it works. First, agents discover. You let them loose on new problems, and every time they succeed, you save that solution as a new, proven workflow. Then, you train. You take this growing library of what we'll call golden workflows, and you use it to teach your agents how your company actually gets things done. And finally, you evaluate. Those same golden workflows become the gold standard, the answer key for judging how well an agent is doing its job. It just keeps getting better and better. Okay, so that synergy sounds fantastic. But how do you actually do it? How do you take this library of golden workflows and use it to make your agent smarter? Well, there are two main ways to go. The first is called fine-tuning. This is where you take all those workflows and basically bake them into the AI's brain. You're changing the model's fundamental structure so it internalizes your company's know-how. The other path is dynamic prompting with search. This is more like giving the AI an open book test every single time. A new task comes in, you quickly search for the best examples from your library, and you give them to the AI as context for that one specific job. It references the knowledge instead of memorizing it. I love this analogy to help make the choice clearer. Think of fine-tuning like building custom hardware. It's incredibly powerful and super optimized, but it's rigid. If you need to change something, you got to start all over. Dynamic prompting, on the other hand, is like writing software. It's flexible, it's way easier to update, and it can adapt to new information instantly. So which one should you use? Well, fine-tuning is great for learning general behaviors that aren't going to change much. The big gotcha is that any little update, a new tool, a new process, means you have to do a whole costly retraining. Dynamic prompting is amazing for personalized tasks or things that are constantly changing. The catch? Its success, 100%, hinges on having a really, really good search system. And that right there is the linchpin. If you want that flexible, adaptable system, you have to build a search that's way smarter than just matching a few keywords. Think about it. In a big company, if you search for competitor analysis, you could get thousands of hits. Just finding something that looks similar isn't good enough. You need the one authoritative workflow. So how does a system figure that out? It has to look for signals of trust. You know, was this workflow made by a senior director? Does it actually work most of the time? Are people sharing it around on Slack? Finding the trusted answer requires way more than a search box. It needs a real knowledge graph of your organization.
So let's zoom out and tie all of this technical stuff back to the real goal. What are we actually trying to build here? We're trying to build what you could call an onboarded AGI.
And here's the best way to think about it. You could have the most super intelligent AGI in the world, but on its first day at your company, it's just like a brilliant new hire. It doesn't know anything. It has to be onboarded. It needs to learn your specific tools, your processes, who's who, and all the unwritten rules that make your company tick.
And that's the real finish line. An enterprise-aware AGI. An AI that isn't just generally smart, but is fully onboarded into your company. It knows your unique way of doing things. And, this is so important, it gets the subtle but critical difference between an answer that's just acceptable and one that is truly great. And that gap is everything. An acceptable competitor analysis might just be a quick Google search. A great one knows to follow your company's specific 4-step process, pull data from the last 10 customer calls, and frame it around the 3 metrics that your CEO is obsessed with right now. Teaching an AI how to close that gap, that's what this is all about. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about for your own AI strategy. It's not enough for your AI to be smart. The real question you should be asking is, are you building it to be enterprise aware? Thanks for tuning in.